today's show. A subscriber sent me this a while ago. I put it on a list, which is really what I try to do, of videos and topics that I want to cover. Obviously, a lot of the stuff, I try to keep are things that are going on now that you're seeing every single day. I try not to go back too far. But somebody sent me this video, and I wanted to show it to everyone because I thought first of all, it's sun and moon worship, so it has all the satanic undertones, but it's also just really, really creepy. And some of the other songs that these guys have is really, really creepy. Now, I'm sure nobody has ever heard of the actual band. The name's Yello, but you've definitely heard the song before. It's called Oh Yeah. I'll play a little clip. I think the song's in like Ferris Bueller. It's in a lot of movies, right? But the lyrics of the song are pretty much them going, oh yeah, making faces and stuff. And you'd be surprised to see how disturbing the video is. Now, before I show you some of this stuff, which is pretty creepy and pretty odd, you can make your own decision and interpret it how you want. I just thought it was odd and it was worth showing people, especially with the sun and moon worship, which is obviously stuff that I cover on this channel, all the pagan satanic cult worship. But the stuff involving children and the undertones in it, to me, are pretty disturbing. I'm not making any accusations against these people or the band, but we know how these music videos work, right? And we know a lot of the times they work in code, and we obviously know what Hollywood is run by and how many of these people are out there. So take a look at some of this just bizarre stuff in the video. The sun and moon worship, right? So you get the child holding up the sun and moon, okay? And what's creepy about it is when a lot of the times what they'll do is they'll show them and they'll say even more beautiful. And, it's kind of like got a sexual tone to it. And they'll show these children who are dressed up as sun goddesses, covered in all this gold and things like that. Right? And then the lyrics of the song are pretty simple. It's just them going, oh yeah, the moon, beautiful. The sun, even more beautiful. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. And then they go on and they just go, beautiful, right? And you got kids popping up, and you've got very just bizarre undertones. It's not just, of course, with the sun and moon worship, which should be enough for anyone to just go, okay, this has got to be the dumbest song, right? Like, the song is in every movie. All it is somebody saying, oh yeah, the moon, beautiful, the sun, even more beautiful. Look it up for yourself. Put in oh yeah lyrics. The name of the band, again, is, hold on, what is their name? Yello, right? Yello without a W, Y-E-L-L-O. That's literally the lyrics of the song, and these guys are like, this song is in every movie. These guys are probably getting royalty checks every day, okay, for the most ridiculous thing, which just goes to show you, again, for people out there that think, you have to be this big, talented writer and artist and musician, come on, it is such a joke. All these people are all part of the same brotherhood, and that's how this works. They help each other out. They code in these videos all the time, okay? And then they have this other video, which is just as creepy. It's called Tied Up, okay? So Tied Up, what do you think, Tied Up? And they're singing, and they're constantly doing the same thing. They're showing a child, dressed up in gold with these gold, pagan sun worship headdresses on. So it's just a different video, but it's the same thing, and then they have like this giant demon that looks kind of like the Baphomet. I would get, you can say what you want. Maybe it's not the Baphomet. Just want to say it's a demon that's on the long claws. They show it lurking in the shadows, and then they cut, to a picture of a horrified kid, and then, it's called Tied Up, and they're showing the kid over and over. What did somebody say? Hey, you know what, guys? Hey, Yello, we kind of did this in the last video with the kid in the headdress. Maybe we should, do something different. Why is there this constant theme amongst this band, to show this type of, what really is occultic symbolism, but also just focusing in on children, Again, I'm not making accusations. I'm just pointing out something that someone showed me and said, don't you think this is really weird? It is. And these are things that we should look at and address. You can take it for what it's worth, but there's so much, stuff that we don't see and we miss in these videos, right? Like recently I covered, just covering Freddie Mercury, a lot of people were like, oh wow. Because, a lot of us, I know Queen and listened to Queen when I was young. I mean, I'm not that old, when they were like big. But you don't think about like that, right? Because we just keep getting force-fed Katy Perry and all these other people. And then when you go look back and look at it, I was actually surprised how many people were amazed by it and actually were like, oh my goodness, I never saw Freddie Mercury wearing all the eyeballs and all the MK Ultra stuff that they were showing in the videos. I mean, because we don't often enough go back to these things. Somebody, I guess, who messaged me had just looked up the song because maybe they heard it in the movie, and they were highly disturbed by what they saw because they had seen, a lot of the coverage on the occult, not just from me, from others out there. I said, you gotta just take a look at this. I mean, what's normal about it? Nothing's normal about it. You can't look at it and say, well, that's really, artistic, right? Then you just get people, commenting on it, and they're like creeped out, they're confused, they're like, all right, and apparently this is in like a Duff Man commercial or some beer commercial now, so it's a song that they still keep relevant. I think these are things that are fascinating to at least just look at and just say, you can't look at that and tell me like oh, this is real artistic, right? Because if people don't have the discernment to say, okay, here's a guy saying beautiful, beautiful, and they're like staring at a little kid and then their mouths are dropping, their jaws are dropping. I mean, it's strange, right? And we obviously know what Hollywood's run by and all these people and how creepy it is. And of course they have one eye symbolism. They use shadow over the eyes all the time in this video as well as their other videos, right? They're constantly showing it, one of the eyes faded out. And of course they have this child holding up gold, because gold is apparently something that that these people just seem to love. But no, gold is used in a lot of these Egyptian type rituals. I've covered it with Marina Abramovich with the gold leafing. Okay, these people, this band Yello has a song, Gold Rush, and they feature these huge gold nuggets, which could have a different meaning than what I'm talking about as far as, I don't think he was just like, let's put a gold nugget in the video. It could have some type of occultic or, what's the proper word without getting flagged, regarding children, some type of undertone message. Because he's got the kids constantly holding up gold in all these videos, gold nuggets, right? And of course, holding up the moon and holding up the sun. So I thought it was just worth covering. I mean, it wasn't like I got to run and do this thing as soon as I saw it. I was just like, wow, that's really creepy. And I just felt like, there should be a video out there on it for people to look at and just say, all right, what is the message that's trying to be sent here? Because these videos aren't works of art. These videos are coded. They're coded with signs and symbolism, and the people, the circles they run, and they see this and they get it, but the common person doesn't. All they do, they just look at it like, oh, that's odd. That's odd. And you got to look at it from the perspective of, this is a music video with 7 million views, a song that is in almost, it is a song that is in a lot of movies and TV shows. Everybody has heard it before. You might not be able to pinpoint it other than maybe Ferris Bueller, which is the one that it pops into my head. They play it in that. But there's a lot of production that goes behind this stuff and a lot of money that goes into it. And you think that they were just like, oh yeah, we're going to grab some kids and then we'll throw a gold nugget at the kid. We'll stare at them and say beautiful. And, the whole lyrics of the song are about sun and moon worship. Nothing to do with the Baphomet, of course. And they even have, the heads in the table type of thing, which was something I talked about with Marina Abramovich. And those the dinners or whatever that they had, where they were kind of pushing cannibalism, where they would have, cakes of human beings and eat it. And like, we're supposed to think that's normal. You get, Will Ferrell there, Gwen Stefani, Madonna, all these people sitting there. And there's, few people literally paid as actors to stick their head through the table to act like they're the main course. And then when the food comes out, it's actually food that resembles human bodies, right? And this is just like, oh, it's artistic. So they even have them, with their heads through the table, which reminds me of that immediately, because, I mean, that kind of stuff is just like unbelievable that people aren't, the people still let them call stuff like that art and don't say anything about it being suspicious or raising a white flag. So, or a red flag, I should say. So this is Yello, Yello. You've all probably heard the song, Oh Yeah. I thought it was just something you should take a look at. You could determine yourself what you think of it, but obviously, at the very least, it's occultic and it's more of this sun worship, moon worship, right? We see the sun, the moon with the Baphomet. Obviously, when Comet Ping Pong and all that stuff happened, they have those symbols there too. It's as they say, food for thought. Not that that saying is really holds much weight, because it's just another stupid saying that they programmed us all with. But I thought everybody would be interested in checking it out. When I see some videos like from the past, and I show people it, they seem pretty fascinated because they're actually, the videos that I covered today, the music videos of today are a lot more simple than the ones in the 80s and the 70s and stuff, because they're, you look at it and you're just like, what are they trying to show there? Whereas now, I mean, you got the black and white tile, you got the all-seeing eye, and they're always talking about what, sex, drugs, and all that type of stuff, and just pretty much polluting people's minds and dumbing them down. These ones are just really, creepy and dark, and, just like Tainted Love, when I covered Tainted Love, if you haven't seen that video, you should check it out, right? I mean, like the guy seducing a child, I mean, it's weird stuff where, that there's a way bigger undertone, and then, of course, you find out that these people are Satanists, right? Just like that band, has the Masonic album cover. The guys who did Tainted Love, right? It must be a coincidence. I mean, oh boy. I mean, it's everywhere. It's all connected to one another, right? All connected. I thank you for listening to today's show. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. God bless you and your family.